We meet again, North Alabama. Welcome to the Fox 54 Week in Review, your only source for a weekly recap of stories we've covered that impact you locally here in North Alabama. Here's what's on tap for you this week. Valentine's Day has passed, but scammers are always ready to play games with your affections in an attempt to break you and your money apart. State Attorney General has a warning. And Huntsville's Orion amphitheater is a star in the entertainment world. We'll tell you about the top honor a national publication gave the venue and how it's influencing the Rocket City's status as a hot music destination. And following another year of record growth, the Huntsville International Airport is earning some upgrades, and it's going to begin with an area that gets some of the most foot traffic by far, the restrooms. We'll explain. We'll begin this week with an update on the 2024 Alabama legislative session. Two major bills have passed its first hurdles, including legalized gaming and changes to absentee voting rules that detractors say could set progress back by decades. A controversial bill has passed on the Alabama Senate floor. It's Senate Bill 1. SB 1 is a bill that reforms the absentee voting process. This evening, our Jasmine Bird hears from a few officials who believes this is just another intimidation tactic.
It's a bill that really to dilute the black votes. That's when I say black votes, people of color.
Madison County Alabama Democratic Conference Chairman Eddie Sherrod believes SB 1 is an intimidation type of bill.
And oftentimes, it discourages the voters.
Montgomery Mayor Stephen Reed breaks down the process.
Our lawmakers are forced to enact legislation that will make it a crime to help family members, neighbors, and others in our communities from requesting, completing, and submitting an absentee ballot. This past Wednesday, the first day the legislature to hold committee meetings on pending legislation, the Alabama State Senate Government Affairs Committee invited public input on this bill. More than a dozen people spoke out against it. Only one person encouraged it, and lawmakers still passed it.
Mayor Reed believes there's a bigger piece to the puzzle than just protecting voting rights.
I don't believe all of this is about protecting the right to vote. I think it's about disenfranchising others from voting.
Madison County probate judge Frank Barger supports this effort and states, quote, Alabama is recognized in having some of the most secure and well-run elections in the entire nation. However, anything our legislators can continue to do to ensure we have secure elections is something I fully support, end quote. Lift Our Vote lead organizer Gloria Hollins feels this is a critical moment and the state Senate must get with the times.
So say your grandma needs help, she gives you gas money. She's going to be charged. You're going to be charged. They'll both be felonies. Our prison system is already overcrowded. And who wants their grandma in prison because she was trying to vote? It's 2024, not 1964.
Alabama, two bills centered on legalizing gambling in Alabama have passed the state house. They're House Bills 151 and 152. This means the bills are now moved to the Senate, making them one step closer to going on the ballot. Some political action groups like Focus on America urging Alabamians before this afternoon's vote to ask their state representatives to vote no on the bill. But nevertheless, HB 151 passed the House with a 70-32 vote. HB 152 also passed the House with a 67-31 vote. Governor Kay Ivey continues to support both bills, and the governor issued a statement this afternoon sharing that Alabamians, quote, deserve to have another say on gaming. Governor Ivey also sharing in part, quote, the proposal passed by the House will clean up and crack down on the rampant illegal gambling and will give Alabamians the opportunity to have their say on regulated, limited forms of gaming, end quote. Polling locations is just one thing voters can expect here in Madison County as this upcoming election season is underway. But how does this affect you? Our Ken McCoy spoke with probate judge Frank Barger for the answer.
The March 5th primary will be here very soon. Tomorrow, we're just 3 weeks away. Election season is upon us, and now is the perfect time to get prepared.
Would strongly encourage folks to be prepared. Know what's on the ballot. Know what the issues are. There's an amendment on the ballot. Know who you plan to vote for, and be prepared on Election Day. I would also encourage folks to verify your registration. You can do that by visiting our website at madisoncountyvotes.com. If you need to update your registration or to register for the first time, you can also find links on our website to do that. But be prepared for March the 5th. It will be here soon, and the day of is too late.
Speaking of being prepared, Madison County has prepared for this season by adding new polling locations.
There were major changes in advance of this election cycle that were undertaken by my office and the County Commission to add additional polling places and to streamline and change polling location sizes so we can be more efficient on March the 5th. Everyone affected by that change received a mailed notification at their home address, so I would look at that. If you have questions about your polling location, you can go to madisoncountyvotes.com and you can verify your polling location, your registration.
But you still have a little time.
Last day to register and hand deliver a registration application is February the 16th, so that's coming up very soon. That's this week. You can postmark a registration form by the 17th. You can also update or register online by midnight on February the 19th.
Voting season is upon us, so let's get the facts. Fact 1. Are there any changes to polling locations this year?
There were major changes in advance of this election cycle that were undertaken by my office and the County Commission to add additional polling places and to streamline and change polling location sizes so we can be more efficient on March the 5th.
Checking your updated polling location is just one way to prepare for this upcoming election season.
Everyone affected by that change received a mailed notification at their home address, so I would look at that. If you have questions about your polling location, you can go to madisoncountyvotes.com.
Fact 2. What is an absentee ballot? An absentee ballot is a ballot completed and typically mailed in advance of an election by a voter who was unable to be present at the polls.
Our absentee office is open here at the Madison County Service Center at 1918 North Memorial Parkway in Huntsville. You can actually come in person and apply for your absentee ballot, or if you should choose to, you can actually vote your absentee ballot here on site. If you do have issues with work, a certain work shift, or you're unavailable the day of the election, it certainly is possible that you could vote an absentee ballot.
Fact 3. Do I have to vote for a certain party?
There is no registration by party in the state of Alabama, but you do have to choose which primary you would like to vote in. If there is a runoff, you can only vote in the runoff election for the primary in which you voted.
Fact 4. What are the deadlines?
Last day to register and hand deliver a registration application is February the 16th, so that's coming up very soon. That's this week. You can postmark a registration form by the 17th. You can also update or register online by midnight on February the 19th.
For Fox 54 News, I'm Ken McCoy.
Some good news out of Low Mill. The center posting on Facebook that repairs have started to fix the elevator system. The announcement was made yesterday. The elevator, now out of service, has limited access to second floor businesses over the last several months. The trial date is set for former Decatur police officer Bailey Marquette. Marquette pled not guilty to the charge of murder in the death of Steve Perkins last week. The trial date is set for November 18th, and Fox 54 will be there for coverage. For more information on this case, visit our website. And Decatur police continue to be under scrutiny at tonight's Decatur City Council meeting. Community members shared their dissatisfaction of the police handling of the shooting and called for the removal of Police Chief Todd Pinion during public comment. Some speakers also decrying the arrest of Elena Daly. She was arrested for disorderly conduct on Friday. Daly claims she was a peaceful protester standing on a public sidewalk as per recent city ordinances. According to sheriff's records, Daly still remains in Morgan County Jail on no bond. One woman who says she was arrested under similar circumstances shared her outrage.
I was held in jail longer for holding a sign with no profanity than Bailey Mack was held for murdering 2 people.
The woman is referring to the death of Jaden Desjarnette, who died in a crash related to a police pursuit back in early September, weeks before Steve Perkins was killed. Well, What we're about to discuss is a really hard topic. It's human trafficking. And today we learned law enforcement in Limestone County said they've teamed up with community leaders to put a stop to some predators. Our Jasmine Bird has this story.
Right here at the Limestone County Sheriff's Department, 9 individuals have been arrested on human trafficking charges. And one thing officers say parents should watch out for more closely is what their children are doing on their smart devices.
When you give them this phone, you've given them access to the world and the world access to them. So instead of watching out for something specifically, monitor your own children and monitor what they do on these devices.
Jared Hudson with the Covenant Rescue Group believes when it comes to adult supervision, monitoring a child's smartphone activity, everyone has a part to play.
I can tell you we all need to get better at monitoring our kids and how they utilize these devices.
Limestone County Sheriff Department's investigator, Captain Caleb Durden, says this operation was the result of several months of planning.
To the parents that are watching this, I hope you're wondering what you can do to help us. Supervise your children. Monitor their electronic devices.
And another message for any other sex trafficking predators in the area.
To those who wish to exploit children in the Tennessee Valley, I want you to consider this the next time you get online looking for a child. You just might be talking to one of my officers, and I can assure you we're going to find you and we're going to arrest you.
It's not like you see somebody out in town. These individuals are very, very smart, right? They're not going to play their hand too easily, so you have to monitor your kids' devices.
In Athens, Jasmine Bird, Fox 54 News.
Tax season is well underway, and if you haven't found someone to help you prepare your taxes, listen up. A free tax program is available. This service is provided in Athens, Decatur, and Ardmore. It's primarily for people 50 and over with limited income. The program is about helping those who can't afford to pay someone to do their taxes.
And this service is no cost to the taxpayer to have their taxes filed. In addition, we e-file at no cost to the taxpayer as well. We would like very much to assist you because this is a great savings to individuals who happen to live on fixed income or they do not have the ready available funding.
A very helpful program. Well, people living in any county can receive this free service that has been provided to residents across North Alabama since 1982. Broadway Theater League with a warning about a ticket scam, and it's costing people and the league money. According to Will Elric, the latest show, To Kill a Mockingbird, is being sold on spam sites with prices marked up almost the original ticket price, and it's become a big problem. Here's a listen.
So we will have people that will come in or come to the box office with an email, with a copy of an email saying they bought tickets for, say, $500, which has happened. This one's Ticket Center. Okay, limited seats are available, and we do have some in the upper balcony that are open. And see, upper balcony row section 4, which is right here, $149 each. That's a $109 markup on that ticket.
Wow, well, Broadway Theater League says tickets can still be purchased in person or by phone. Scammers looking for the perfect opportunity to make a quick buck. Alabama Attorney General Steve Marshall shares what to be on the lookout for.
Even in Valentine's Day, we're not immune from those who try to take advantage of some of our most vulnerable.
The game of love can be costly.
Time of year when we see over 70,000 people impacted as a result of these scams. We're talking about almost $1.3 billion in 2022 alone from this time of year.
What we're seeing now is an increase in digital currency being used in romance scams, and that's called pig butchering.
And so this is a significant criminal justice issue, but it's also where way too many people are victimized and they have no idea it's occurring. And we see these romance scams come around every year, and it's not atypical where someone tries to develop a relationship with an individual, but yet here their contact is occurring through online dating apps, other online resources, and it's where these individuals are able to coerce some of our most vulnerable into giving personal identifying information.
Ahead of Valentine's Day, Alabama Attorney General Steve Marshall shares what people should be mindful of.
People need to be very proactive in being able to protect their own personal information, even to those for whom they think they have some kind of relationship. I think most importantly is if you're dealing with somebody online that you don't know, in the sense of never met personally, have no connection with, never give out Social Security number, bank account, credit card information, because that's when bad things can happen. And just a little due diligence on the front end is one way to be able to protect yourself.
And also, look out for the ones you love.
Anyone can become a victim, but the people we're most concerned of right now are the elderly persons, people over the age of 60 who may have experienced just recently losing a partner. They become more vulnerable at that time.
For those that are family members of some of our most vulnerable, it's making sure that we're being diligent and being able to talk to those individuals. We always have to be on guard. And frankly, if it sounds too good to be true, we need to trust our gut.
For Fox 54 News, I'm Ken McCoy.
The annual Barrels and Boxes of Love kicks off tomorrow. Businesses and the community come together to restock Decatur food pantries like Salvation Army and the Committee for Church Cooperation. It also covers the spring break backpack feeding program at Decatur City and Morgan County schools. Joe Holmes with Decatur Utilities explains how you can participate.
Barrels this year, we're using boxes instead, but it's just real simple to participate. You can pick up boxes at the Committee on Church Cooperation or United Way of Morgan County on 1st Avenue. Take those bags, set them out at your place of business, your church, your school, your civic group, and encourage people to just come and bring those non-perishable food items and drop those off over the next couple of weeks.
Oh yeah, well the boxes will be collected on March 1st and the items sorted and given to local food banks.
Now, Fox 54 Top Teacher, sponsored by Calhoun Community College.
Today we visit a school centered on the arts, theater, writing, music, you name it. It's a creative space, making it easy for one 5th grade teacher. We meet Lisa Snodgrass from the Academy for Academics and Arts. The person who nominated her says she represents AAA all the way. Here's a listen. Meet 5th grade teacher.
I do what I do because I have the passion for my students.
Lisa Snodgrass.
I love teaching. I've always loved teaching.
She teaches all the subjects.
Oh, math, reading, science, social studies, and technology.
And with flair. See, she's a teacher at the Academy for Academics and Arts, also known as the AAA.
So we're going to sing the song that we learned about R-controlled words, okay? Go.
And in her classroom,
is followed by our people.
Music helps move her students.
I just love it, just being able to integrate all the arts into the science and the math and the reading, because, you know, sometimes you have struggling students, but they can get it through a song or through a rap.
Huntsville City Schools has been home for Snodgrass for 11 years.
She is an institution in this building, and we could not do it without her.
And for Principal Dr. Evelyn Coffey, Snodgrass is a treasure too.
She is a jewel, and we are so incredibly lucky to have her. Not only is she an incredible 5th grade teacher, she is a musician inside and outside of the school. All of us have a vested interest in the arts and making sure that our students are getting to experience all of the things that come along with being an artist.
Snodgrass hopes to prepare her 5th graders for the next level in learning and life.
So I just want my 5th graders to be productive students. In the world, as you know, in the world as well as in school, just to be a whole person.
Congratulations, Mrs. Snodgrass. Check out the moment she was surprised as top teacher and hear a little bit more about her passion. While you're at it, nominated teacher at fox54.com. The Alabama School of Cyber Technology and Engineering is expanding its opportunities for students. The school teamed up with the U.S. Army Space and Missile Defense Command. Our Sedona Meadows was at the official ceremony commemorating this new partnership, and she gives us a look at what it's all about.
ASCTE has hit the ground running as the nation's only public high school focused on integrating cyber technology and engineering into the classrooms.
I think being at a STEM school has really opened up my eyes, and I didn't really have many opportunities back in my hometown to get incorporated with cyber and engineering.
And they study cyber engineering as well as the regular 4 core classes and how those all blend together. but also our students get experiences outside the classroom with our partners.
The school's partnership with other institutions is what allows students to work with subject matter experts and mentors and get field experience.
Not only am I learning from a high school biology teacher, but I'm learning from somebody that worked at Hudson Alpha for decades.
So with the Rocket City being a military town and with ASCTE's focus, it only makes sense the school would connect with the U.S. Army Space and Missile Defense Command. Thursday afternoon, ASCTE and SMDC put pen to paper on a new educational partnership agreement.
This partnership is going to have the Space Missile Defense Command folks coming in our school, meeting our students, mentoring them, talking about their experience, but it's also going to open up opportunities for our students to off campus, to go there with internships and to be able to get their hands on real live projects that they're working on as well.
We see this as an opportunity not just for the students that we talked to today that we're sponsoring, but also for the Space Missile Defense Command and the Department of Defense, because these engineering, science, cyber students that understand what we're doing, those are the kind of folks that we need in the future.
SMDC says this is a two-way partnership with the students, and they can't wait to collaborate. In Huntsville, Sedona Meadows, Fox 54 News.
A new director is leading NASA's Marshall Space Flight Center, and his name is Joseph Pelfrey. Pelfrey was appointed earlier this month, February 5th to be exact. Our Jasmine Bird introduces us to him and shares more about what's in the works at NASA.
Look to the future of Marshall. There's more to explore, there's more to dream, there's more to innovate, there's more to inspire, and there's more to gain when we do it together.
Meet NASA Marshall Space Flight Center's new director, Joseph Pelfrey. Pelfrey had served as acting center director since July 2023. NASA Administrator Bill Nelson appointed Pelfrey, and now Pelfrey is jump-starting his new role by sharing what's all in the works at NASA.
Just last night, the Intuitive Machines launch with our industry partners included a Marshall payload called Lunar Navigation 1 that is on its way to the moon as we speak. It's a technology demonstration for autonomous navigation that will help us inform future designs for landers and exploration vehicles on the surface of the moon.
NASA is also leading a new partnership with the Italian Space Agency to develop the concepts for a multi-purpose habitat,
which will be the first habitation element on the surface of the moon to support a sustained presence for our exploration goals. We just kicked off the mission concept review for that habitat, and we have to finish that this year. And we're very excited about this partnership with our international partners.
And that's not all. NASA's hired over 600 employees since March 2020, and with almost 7,000 civil servants and contractors. The question of layoffs is not on the table.
Marshall, we were able to restructure some of our contracts on the Mars Ascent vehicle and replan some of our staffing to handle the reductions in staffing, and so we do not anticipate any cuts here at the center.
NASA's also continuing to invest in their facilities with 2 new facilities that are currently in the design process. One is called the Marshall Exploration Facility,
which will sit on the site of our previous headquarters building, 4200, and it will provide us auditorium space, collaboration space, training center, and many other services that we lost when we lost 4200.
And the other is a new engineering and science laboratory.
144,000 square foot facility, state of the art, that will enable the missions that we're supporting for the future. Both of these are expected in the coming years.
In Huntsville, Jasmine Bird, Fox 54 News.
The Orion Amphitheater is barely 2 years old, and it's already recognized by one of the top names in music. Our Ken McCoy spoke with Orion's general manager and has the story.
Billboard recently presented the Orion Amphitheater with a huge honor.
It's pretty amazing. I mean, Billboard, obviously a global recognized music industry standard, independently came to us and said our editorial board has selected the top 26 venues in the world, and you're one of them. Awesome. And it just came out of nowhere, and it's quite an honor. We're not even 2 years old. Here we are in North Alabama. We get called the top amphitheater in the entire East Coast of the United States, and we're not even on the East Coast.
I know you just said it. You guys have only not even been open 2 years.
That's right.
Like, how fast has the success been here at the amphitheater?
It's pretty amazing. You know, we talked a big game coming into this, which is great. We have a lot of amazing people in the music industry that are part of this. We got the word out. I think our success is really because we're living up to our promises and we're bringing the big names. The reputation is out there, and people just really love this venue.
Awesome. And you, speaking of that, you guys offer a variety here. Do you think that kind of played into the success of what you guys had?
Absolutely. You know, I think you have all these venues of our size, smaller and bigger, that are just kind of doing the cookie cutter business. They're seeing who's out on tour. We actively go after all kinds of diverse programming to make sure we're hitting all the bases.
Awesome. Where do you see the amphitheater going in the future?
I mean, I think the goal has always been, like, we want to be one of the top venues in the world, right? So to get this ranking feels like, wow, we're hitting it. We want to be that. We want to be like Red Rocks or the Gorge or these Hollywood Bowl. We want to be set in the same breath. So 10 years from now, 20 years from now, we're just that iconic venue, and we happen to be in Huntsville, Alabama, which is pretty exciting.
How has the Huntsville community played into what you guys are doing here?
Well, you know, the Huntsville community has been absolutely amazing and supportive, and I think this could have only happened in Huntsville, Alabama. Yep. You know, it's such a unique city with the support, the passion, the creativity, and the understanding that you could try to do this in a major market and it wouldn't have hit as hard because people are hungry for it.
NASA will host its final phase of the Break the Ice Lunar Challenge, and it'll be on the campus of Alabama A&M University. Our Sedona Meadows gives us a look at what this challenge is and why it's coming here.
NASA's space exploration is a big task, especially when it comes to the moon.
NASA's long-term goal is to have a sustained presence on the moon and Mars.
And when developing new technology to further their exploration, diverse thoughts and ideas are welcomed. So what better way to try out new ideas for technology than through a challenge? A Break the Ice Lunar Challenge, to be exact. Something NASA started in 2020, bringing competitors from all different backgrounds together.
We have people that are garage inventors. We have people that are students from universities.
To find new solutions for excavating ice from the moon.
We need to develop technologies to excavate that ice, and then we can process that regolith or the lunar soil, and then extract that ice and convert that into water. Water can be used as rocket fuel or for astronauts' consumption, and so many other things.
Over the last few years, these competitors have designed and built robots meant to
address a lot of challenges associated with the extreme lunar environment.
But only 6 teams have made it to the final round of the challenge. And that final round is happening right here at Alabama A&M's Agribition Center in June.
We were looking for a facility that has some indoor space and outdoor space and proximity to NASA Marshall Space Flight Center.
This center will be used to test the robots' excavation and transportation skills.
On the excavation side, we will have concrete slabs made out of low-strength concrete, and each team is going to dig from those concrete slabs. And parallelly, on the outside, we'll have a transportation track which is about 300 meters long, which has turns, slopes, boulders. So teams have to go through these transportation track to deliver some material.
The winner of the challenge will receive $1 million and a chance to test their robot inside a thermal vacuum chamber. Now, this is the first time the challenge is taking place in the Rocket City, and it will be open to the public on June 11th and 12th. But for now, in Huntsville, Sedona Meadows, Fox 54 News.
Well, one young boy was recently honored by the city of Sheffield for his heroic actions. Kason McClung was awarded Friday with the Citizenship Medal of Valor for the bravery he showed last October. According to Sheffield police, the 10-year-old was shot while trying to protect his mother during a domestic violence shooting. Police say his mother, Ashley McClung, was allegedly shot and killed by her boyfriend at the time. The man was found dead by his own hand by police a short time later. In addition to the medal, Kason also was given a plaque with a photo of him and his mother, his very own firefighter helmet, and a donation box.
The city of Huntsville is growing by leaps and bounds, and so is our international airport. The FAA recently awarded HSV a $7 million grant for terminal improvements. Our Sedona Meadows was at the airport today and tells us what's going on.
I'm sure if you've traveled through the Huntsville International Airport recently, you've seen some construction. And guess what? You'll soon see some more. Congressman Dale Strong announced HSV is receiving $7 million from the Federal Aviation Administration for this fiscal year. It's part of the FAA's Airport Terminal Program, meant to improve airport infrastructure. And here at HSV, because of this funding, restrooms on the north side of the concourse will be getting an upgrade.
As our passengers are coming through our airport, we want them to feel comfortable. We want them to, feel as though their needs are being met. And that includes, restroom needs.
These renovations will happen in 2 phases. The first phase creates a new companion care restroom and a new family restroom.
Phase 1 of the renovations, we're going to start with the shoe shine parlor. That is going to become 2 separate single bathrooms. One is going to have a changing table for your kids and kid care, and then the other one is going to be a companion care. So it'll have an adult changing table and things of that nature.
Phase 2 will focus on improving the already existing men's and women's restrooms.
Some of the exciting additions and improvements that are going to be happening is wider stalls to allow for luggage and allow for more space within each stall, as well as automatic soap dispensers, automatic sinks, and automatic hand dryers, and then step stools for your children or anyone of need for a step stool to reach the sink, as well as purse hooks, coat hooks.
A new nursing room will also be included in the overall renovations, which would add to the existing nursing stations. The airport says all of these changes are simply to make passengers feel more comfortable, while also working with the airport's growth as they saw a record number of travelers last year.
We want to make sure that we're putting our passengers' needs at the forefront.
Phase 1 of these renovations will begin in April and last about 4 months, with Phase 2 beginning after Phase 1's completion and lasting about 6 months. For more information about other projects happening at Huntsville International Airport, please visit fox54.com. In Huntsville, Sedona Meadows, Fox 54 News.
Well, we get a picture of how life is in rural Alabama and how it's changed over the years and in the coming years, quite literally. A new traveling exhibit is now open at the historic Triana Health Clinic and Triana Public Library. The Crossroads exhibit is part of a Smithsonian touring program. The Triana Clinic was chosen to host in part to celebrate the historic building's reopening after laying dormant for nearly 20 years. Triana Historical Society President Betty Williams explains.
This building was our mission to renovate because of the history that it held. It was built by the CCC, and also Nurse Dent and Dr. Drake worked in this building from 1950s through the 70s, and she retired in the 90s, so she worked over 44 years here.
Wow, well, the Triana Health Clinic has been listed on the National Register of Historical Places since 2010. The Smithsonian Crossroads exhibit will run through April 12th.
We saw quite the rain today, but that did not stop Huntsville's annual Mardi Gras parade from coming out in full force. Now this afternoon, hundreds of people lined the streets of downtown to get close to the action. Parade floats and dancers made their way through the crowd as people waited in the throw zone for beads, cups, and more. It was a great time, and it was all for a great cause because money raised from the parade participants' entry fees will benefit the Blount Hospitality House, an organization that provides lodging and support for patients and out-of-town relatives of patients who are in Huntsville seeking medical treatment. And we have so many photos from the parade to share, so you might even see yourself.
Black History Month on Fox 54 is sponsored by Calhoun Community College.
It's Black History Month, and here at Fox 54, we're showcasing prominent people and places of the past while looking ahead to the future. So it's only fitting we introduce you to this story happening just over the bridge in Decatur, where history has laid the foundation to empower the next generation. Our Sedona Meadows takes us there.
As you travel down the roads of Decatur, Alabama, the word historic plasters signs. Signs rooted in a foundation that's witness to the old town.
Turn me around, and we gonna keep on marching. Vine Street was Decatur's Wall Street. You could come down there and there was just black business everywhere.
When many others only witnessed the word historic.
Now when you go down, it's nothing.
Urban renewal has displaced a lot of the families, the neighbors that were there, and the old homes as well as businesses have been torn down.
And never really know what was here before.
If they do not know the history, it will repeat itself.
My mother's mantra was, if you don't know where you've been, you'll never know where you're going.
Frances Tate, Dorothy Gordon, and Peggy Allen Towns were all raised in Decatur and are board members of the organization celebrating early Old Town with art, also known as CIOTA.
We have children that have children, and we want them to know where they came from.
They've made it their mission to share the rich Black history that's around here. Many of that history helped fuel the rise of the civil rights movement, like the Scottsboro Boys trials, a case of 9 Black boys who were falsely accused of raping 2 white women aboard a train near Scottsboro, Alabama.
They were in Scottsboro for 12 days. They was tried and convicted, and they was going to lynch them. That's how they got moved to Decatur. The other 2.5, 3 years of trials happened here in Decatur.
But they're not just sharing this history. They're working to build off of it. Right here is the house Ruby Bates, one of the accusers, stayed in during these retrials. It's on Sycamore Street, and it will be a portion of a civil rights museum.
Our museum is going to consist of civil rights and social justice projects all over North Alabama in particular.
So we are renovating that house now, and then we're going to build a multi-million-dollar museum adjacent to, we'll connect the two together.
But that's just one block. Here on Church Street sits a home that's new to the neighborhood, but not new to the neighborhood's legacy. This is Judge James Horton's house, who was the presiding judge on the Scottsboro Boys trials in Decatur and overturned the verdict to execute them. CIOTA got his house moved on wheels from Greenbrier last year.
It was like a phoenix coming up across the bridge. And yes, we're here. Yes, we're here to make a difference.
And it will act as a legal learning center. Right now, the museum and Judge Horton's house are undergoing renovations.
This is a long-term project. It's not going to happen overnight.
But they say it'll be worth the wait.
Once they come through the museum, they will be so motivated and inspired. And they will want to go out in the world and change the world and make the world a better place.
So when you see the word historic, you'll know exactly what it means. For more on this story, please visit our website.
The Huntsville Historic Preservation Commission notes the city's history with markers placed at each landmark. And this Black History Month, we look at a few dedicated to Black history. Our Ken McCoy has the story.
Huntsville's history includes Black history.
The Huntsville Historic Preservation Commission is a group of folks, and their primary job is to help with the regulation of the historic districts, our locally designated historic districts. Of those, we have 4, and that includes Twickenham, 5 Points, Old Town, and Normal Historic District. 3 of those are residential. Normal Historic District is located on the campus of Alabama A&M University. And then we actually have 10 historic districts total, which are listed to the National Register. So the Historic Commission does work within all of those districts, and one of those is helping identify other neighborhoods that are worthy of historic designation.
Our first stop this Black History Month, Old Georgia.
So there was Georgia Cemetery, and there is a historic marker on St. Clair Avenue. The location of it is adjacent to where there's currently a parking deck. So that was the first location where there were burials for African American people in Huntsville. And I think up until Glenwood Cemetery was designated as an official municipal cemetery specifically for Black residents to be buried there.
The date was 1870, when the city of Huntsville, following the purchase of 10 acres from the Benjamin W. Blake estate, originally a part of the John Braun plantation. Additional land was added in 1875 from the W. Darwin family, resulting in the current site. Distinguished African Americans buried here include veterans, former slaves, politicians, and professionals of many fields. As to if there are still bodies buried in the Old Georgia Cemetery,
we don't know. I have never seen documentation that proves one way or another where, if the bodies were reinterred. I do know that at the time when the parking deck was built, I think around the 1980s, There had not been any burials recently for many years. It had been used as grazing land for animals and several other different things over the years. So I know that I'm guessing, and I'm not entirely 100% sure, but I would say once Glenwood was designated, that became the official burial space for Black residents in Huntsville.
We explore more markers as Black History Month continues. For Fox 54 News, I'm Ken McCoy.
Yes, a celebration all month long, and over the weekend, I had the privilege to host a Black History Month festival in Huntsville. The event put on by Rosie's International Services, Inc. This marked 22 years strong. And then here's a picture of myself there. I was able to MC. It was so fun. And there were the founders, Rosie and Charlie Douglas. And my mom was there to support too. Later that night, I did walk the runway for the Rouge Go Red event to bring awareness to heart disease. It's the second year the event was put on by the Central North Alabama Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority, Inc. The chapter celebrated 25 years. Congratulations. I've got to say, even though there were 2 events in one day, I had so much fun serving our community for Black History Month and bringing awareness to heart disease. So much fun. Well, that will wrap up this week in review. Remember, for breaking news, weather, and sports, there's more on the Fox 54 mobile app. And for even more video content beyond what you see on air, get the Fox 54 Plus app on your Roku, Fire TV, and Apple TV devices. Until next time, I'm Kenesha Dees. Thanks for watching.